Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
All right, welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. And if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us where you live and what you do for a living.
Hi, I'm Kristin and I own LXJOOL. I am in Montverde, Florida, and I'm a jeweler.
Awesome.
Yeah,
because I was just curious if you can just, tell us how you, got into the jewelry business in the first place.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, I've been creative my whole life. So I went to art school. I went to FIT in Manhattan, and I've been working in, the creative industry forever. And about 4 years ago, I guess, right as the pandemic was starting, like a lot of people, stuff happened with work, right? So, I really was always kind of making stuff and, kind of doing my own thing and making little necklaces and things like that. And I really wanted to learn more. So I started by signing up for a course in gemology, so I could learn about gemstones and all of that. So I really, I got into that. So I'm a certified gemologist as well. So I got that degree. So I know what I'm doing with the gemstones and what I'm buying when I'm buying them. And then I started the jewelry aspect of it. So I started, working my own designs. And I did some schooling at the Jewelers Academy in London, which is fantastic. They're really positive. I like the way that they think. So they have a positive attitude and they're very uplifting. Everybody's into jewelry there. So everybody has their jewelry business and everyone's really positive and everyone supports everybody else, which I think is needed in today's world.
For sure. So it's one thing to sit there and say, hey, I have this idea and I'm going to go and take, a course, but how did you actually go at executing? Do you have like a physical store? Are you selling online? Like, what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I don't have a physical store right now. I'm really selling online. My family is amazing. My family is fantastic. They've been super supportive. My husband is he'll help me in any way possible. And it's so, through them, I've really, all those connections, I've been selling and making jewelry for the last few years. And I just found that I absolutely love it. So I set up my own website and, I'm trying to build a business. So that's the hard part.
So in terms
for
of,
me.
yeah, so in terms of like, so you mentioned that you're selling online. So like, do you run ads? Like, how have you gotten the word out about, what you're doing?
Yeah, it's hard. The business part, is not my specialty. Obviously, I'm more on the creative end. So, but I'm trying. I'm starting to enlist some people to help me, and trying to get the website going and really get things up and moving. But it's really been word of mouth. People that I see on a daily basis and them telling their friends and, my family constantly getting their friends in there. And, my sister-in-law has a spa and she was carrying my jewelry and, every little bit helps. So it's been, we're getting there. It's still small, but I'm trying.
That's awesome. So, like in terms of obviously, jewelry is broad, right? There's lots of different types of jewelry, but like what kind of jewelry do you specialize in? If somebody wanted to buy something from you, like, who is your, I guess, like ideal customer?
Yeah, well, it's really about, I do a lot with the gemstones and the gemstone kind of meanings. So I like to do pieces that have kind of an intention behind them. I stick with natural gemstones as much as I can. I really, I like the different energy and the properties that they all have. And every stone is individual. Everything's got its little kind of inclusions. And I feel like, that's how we are as people, right? Everybody's got their unique selling points. Everybody's got their unique thing that makes them beautiful. So I feel like a lot of those things in the gemstones come through. So I like to try and design pieces that speak to individuals. If people, I've done some custom work where, they want a certain stone and they want a certain look to it. I have a style to my pieces. They're simple, but they have, I don't know, it's like like my latest collection is a talisman collection. So everything is very geared towards being an amulet of good luck. right? So I draw a lot on past designs, right? So like the Byzantine era, I love just all the designs and the crosses and the, all of the stuff that kind of comes out of there. My inspiration is drawn from there, but my designs are a lot more simple. So honestly, there's a lot of jewelry techniques that are the same, the same things that they did way back then are the same jewelry techniques that, I'm learning and doing now. So it's really, I don't know. I love it. I'm so excited to be doing it and to be able to, just to kind of get some positive pieces out there, make people smile, someone feels good wearing it. I think that that's amazing, right?
Yeah, for sure. So what would you say is the biggest challenge you're facing in the business overall?
Oh, there's a lot. I don't know. I mean, the biggest one, I mean, for me personally in my business is just, getting the word out and getting customers. But as far as jewelry in general, I mean, it's a struggle. I think that there's a lot of, mass produced things out there, which is fine. There's a need for that, but I like the more handcrafted, someone's out there, making it themselves. And there's so many incredibly talented jewelers out there right now that are making handmade pieces. And I just think it's, there's such a special handmade quality to it when it's not machine made. It just has so much more feeling, and someone's sweat and tears went in there, and there's a lot of tears, but things don't always go right when you're soldering or cutting but it's that kind of handmade quality that I think really makes the pieces special. So I mean, I would love to get into doing, pieces for bridal parties. And, I've done some things in the past for brides and things like that. And it's nice to have something that's going to be, impossible heirloom in the future for someone. I think that that's, a great way to pass down traditions, right?
Yeah, for sure. So what would you say is like the role of things like high level technology and AI, for example, when it comes to your business?
Oh, I think a lot of the design process now is really, a lot of it is done on the computer. A lot of the old processes, I think, of hand making things are going away, right? There's a little bit of a revival, I feel, because there's a lot of people during the pandemic that really wanted to do something, and people have picked up their own hobbies and in different things. But, a lot of the assisted design programs where they're designing wedding rings with, you can get really, really detailed, and everything's, specifically perfect computer, down, because it's millimeters that we're working with, right, to make everything perfect and for stone setting. And I think that there's a lot of great computer design that's done, but for me, I appreciate the handwork more so, right? So I know it's all headed that way eventually. But I think still, doing wax carvings and having castings, making castings from those. And I think there's a really simplistic beauty to that.
Makes
So,
sense.
I mean, it's important. Yeah, it's important going forward, I'm sure, especially with marketing, right? If you're marketing any online business, you're going to definitely need some kind of AI and chat GBT and all of that stuff. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
AI is a
just getting
great tool.
started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So I guess like what is your goal? Obviously now like we're about to wrap up 2023, but like what is your goal for 2024 in terms of revenue, for example? Like what are you like, where are you at now? Like what are you looking to get to next year?
It's I don't know, it's hard to say. I'm such a small business right now, and I'm really trying to grow. But I want to grow in in an organic, in a good way. I'm going to start doing some advertising more so, because I just, I want people to go to the website, because I feel like there's so many pretty pieces there that, I just think, there's so much that I can do at this point. So, I'm trying to, just build everything. And I mean, I would love to at some point be able to get, a little bit larger studio and start getting more kind of high-end clients to do specific pieces for them, where you're making jewelry specifically for that person. Because I feel like there's so much that I can offer as far as design and doing the connection with that person, and, what it is that they're feeling and what they want their jewelry to look like, and translating, their style and what they want, and getting their intentions into their piece of jewelry. they're going to want to wear it for their life, So, I mean, I'm looking to, I'm hoping next year, we can increase sales quite a bit. I can't believe that this year is almost over.
But I guess like in terms of numbers, right? Like, I guess like average monthly revenue now, like what would you be looking to be at in 24?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to double my monthly revenue at this point. It definitely is going to take a lot of work, but I've never been shy about that. But yeah, I mean, so far my progress has been good. It hasn't, because I've been doing so much learning up front. I kind of started the business and the learning at the same time. That part of it is a little bit tricky, but now I'm a little more settled and able to hopefully start growing the business a little bit more. So, I mean, doubling revenue would be awesome. Yeah, with the help of, some advertising and a little bit more word of mouth, I think that's possible. But it would be really great to step it up.
Yeah, for sure. So, what would you say is your top business priority as we're wrapping out, or wrapping up 2023?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot with trying to recycle materials, I've found out that they do things where they recycle gemstones from older jewelry. And, I love to be environmentally conscious when I can, which is a little bit contradictory in the jewelry industry because there's so much that's, not great for the environment, but I think as an industry, they're really trying to make that a lot better. I think some of the transparency on how the gems are coming, because we do all ethically sourced jewelry. And I think that that's important. The diamond industry, I think, is being disrupted right now with all the lab created pieces, all the lab created diamonds that are out there. And they're beautiful and they're cheaper, which is fantastic. But there's something about for me, about the natural gemstones where you have that natural inclusion where it's not entirely perfect. I think that as an industry, I think we could do better on that. Synthetics, there's a place for everything, right?
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say is the one biggest piece of advice that you wish you knew before you started this business?
The time that it takes, it's an art form and it takes just, pieces that look really simple. I think the simplest pieces are probably the most difficult to make, right? Because everything has to be super shiny and super polished and just perfect to the millimeter that it's amazingly beautiful, right? And it just, I don't know. I mean, I think learning is key, right? So I think the education part of it is really important. I think that that's probably the biggest thing. Like if you like something, I would go learn it, right? Learn it, do it, practice it, try to figure it out. And then maybe start. I possibly started mine a little bit too early, but it worked out. It worked out. So I can't.
Yeah. There's no perfect time to start. Like I always tell people, if you always like on this podcast, oh, start sooner. I wish I would have started later, because it's just like you never really know a good time to jump in. I think people always say, oh, I never realized how much time and how much money is going to cost. And, I think it's like a very common thing because there's like, you start it and you're like, man, I got to pay for this and pay for that. It's a very, starting any business is very complicated for sure.
Definitely is. And the costs, yeah. I mean, the costs are, especially in the jewelry, if you want to do any, you're investing in all the gemstones first, right? So you're buying all your precious metals and gold is not cheap nowadays. So it's, it's my personal investment in all of that, right? And then you hope for the sales afterwards, but it's definitely a challenge. So, I started with just smaller, lesser quality gemstones and, even practice is expensive, right? Because when you're learning stone setting, if you crack the stone, like that's gone, right? That's money. That's just, there's not a lot you can do to fix it. There's certain techniques now where it's the art of kind of piecing it back together with gold, right? Making it look like it was purposefully done. But it's quite an investment, and nobody really tells you that up front, right? It's there's tools, and there's a little tool for everything, and every stone is a different size, and all of the things that kind of go along with that is it's all money you're investing, hopefully in yourself, and that you can push it forward and someday make a profit and get it back, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if we're going to chat again in 1 year from now, where do you see things going for the business?
Hopefully I'll be too busy.
too busy to chat. Yeah.
I'll have to schedule a whole day just to chat. But yeah, no, I see, I would love to just be able to move into a bigger studio and really be able to just have more customer some face time with the customers and be able to, right now I do where there's kind of little get-togethers, and I'll have people over and I'll have people, just kind of, it's, come and go shopping, basically, come and check out what the pieces are. And if there's things that you like, I know there's someone I did a piece for recently that wanted her children's birthstones, put into a certain design. And, it's that personalization, I think, which kind of sets my business apart. I really want to make everything personal and, get it to where the consumer is really just loving it. So I would love to be able to do more of that in the future, and get it to where it's, build it to where that might be the main part, and the internet might be a side piece to that. But
that makes sense. So if somebody watching this wanted to reach out, do you mind sharing your company website, social media handles, just best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to get in contact with me, I'm on social media. My company name is LXJOOL, and it's LXJOOL.com is my website. It actually comes from, I took it from scientific. So it's kind of, Lux is the scientific, it's about illumination, and then Jewel is about energy. And so I feel like my whole company kind of has that. So it's a strange spelling, so it might be a little bit hard to find, but my Instagram is LuxJool13. So it's LXJOOL13. And my email is all over, all over the website. So you can always get in touch with me. You can message me on Instagram, and I'm really quick to get back to you because I'm all about customer service. I want, people who have interest in my designs to be taken care of and to feel like they're important, because they are. A small business, the customer is super important, and I appreciate all the people who have supported me. So
awesome. Well, Kristin, thank you so much for your time. We're rooting for you, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.